Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at a potential nor'easter that could be impacting parts of Delaware, New Jersey, Long Island, and then into parts of southern New England with heavy rainfall and then some potentially heavy wind gusts. So we're going to start off here with the National Weather Service. Pretty action-packed all the way over to the west. Pretty much as you get west of Minnesota and Nebraska, Kansas, that's where you're really getting pretty much half the counties west of there are under some type of advisory. We start off in California, where you have some red flag warnings that spans through Nevada, Arizona, Utah, up through Colorado and Wyoming, and that's where you could be seeing some high fire danger risks today. Then for some higher elevations in Utah, you're going to be seeing some hard freeze warnings, and then you see some freeze watches up in effect for parts of Northern California and Southern Oregon, and then you also have some wind advisories also for Southern California into parts of Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. You have a winter storm warning in that lighter pink here that is over Montana and Wyoming. That's where you could be seeing upwards of 6 inches of snowfall or a little bit more in the next 24 hours. A winter storm watch is up in effect for parts of Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, even some parts of Minnesota, and then up through Montana again. That's where you could be seeing around 3 to 6 inches of snowfall over the next 24 hours. And that's all associated with this one winter storm dipping in through British Columbia, and it's gonna be pretty strong system. Some models showing 30-40 inches. I'm predicting more of a 12 inches max over this area, because I'm not gonna go all out and say you're gonna get 40 inches of snowfall. That would be very unreliable, and that would just be not too good for me to say. Then we also have in those purples that would be a winter weather advisory. That's for North Dakota, Montana, then in through Wyoming, Idaho, and Washington. Especially for Idaho and Washington, and also for Wyoming. Those are really the higher elevations. In Montana and North Dakota, the winter weather advisory, that would just be for some of those lower elevations actually. And that's where you could be seeing about 1 to 3 inches, maybe some ice too, over the next couple of hours into the next 24 hours. And then finally, to wrap things up, over at the East Coast, we do actually have some coastal flood advisories over for the southern part of New Jersey, the southern coastal part of New Jersey, and then almost all of Delaware, if not all of Delaware. Now, we're going to start off here with your nor'easter. We're going to talk a lot about this nor'easter today. And then finally, we're just going to wrap up talking about some tropical cyclones out in the Atlantic. So we're going to start off with the European model. We're going to start with your precipitation. So this is what it's looking like right now. We have some rain showers coming in for parts of New Jersey, Delaware, and through the Delmarva, and then most of the heavy rain action is offshore. Now we're going to take a zoomed in look. This is 12 hours out, so this would be for tonight, and you're going to be seeing some showers moving onshore to Long Island and New Jersey. Now, as we keep on moving on, it's moving to the east, and yesterday we looked like we could be getting some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts closer to the shore, especially for New Jersey and Long Island. But now it's really backed off, and now those 60 to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts could be here for Nantucket and parts of Rhode Island, and then even for easternmost Long Island, you definitely could be seeing 45, 40 miles per hour wind gusts. Now, as we keep on moving, you're going to be seeing those rain showers move onshore a little bit. And what's actually happening is you have this high pressure up to the north. So you have a high pressure over here, and that's preventing it. Your high pressure spans right like this, and then you have a low pressure all the way out, a couple hundred or about 1,000 miles out, and so that's leaving the system to not be able to go anywhere. So it's going to stall out for about 3 to 5 days over these areas. So you're going to be seeing some rainfall over the next 3 to 5 days, and the low pressure cannot move west because that's going against the jet stream. It's not going. The winds usually go west to east, at least in this part of the atmosphere. Usually, if you get down south a little bit more, they go east to west, and then that's usually where you get your tropical cyclones. And then also, as you get even farther north, you're gonna you see them go east to west. But over this part of the world, you're going to be seeing these winds going east to west. You have a high pressure up north, a low pressure to the east. So this system really has nowhere to go until this low pressure breaks or this high pressure breaks. And it looks like this system is going to absorb this low pressure, and that high pressure is going to kind of move out of the area. Now, this would be for Wednesday. Now, on to Thursday, we see those really heavy rain bands moving on through Nantucket. It moves a bit westward, and now it's starting to make its push west a little bit. And it's going to kind of, you know, not it's gonna go from a strong wrapped up low pressure to kind of an unorganized mess of thunderstorms over these areas, moving back into New Jersey, parts of the Hudson Valley, and into Connecticut, Massachusetts, and pretty much most of southern New England is right now in some showers. And this would be for Thursday. Now Friday, you're still in those showers, and it kind of moves southward a little bit, south and east. And then as this new front system moves, as this new front is coming in, kind of pushing this system out. So now this system isn't really impacting these areas anymore. It's going to move out of the area. Now here's your rainfall totals. You're going to be seeing anywhere in those greens, that's about 1/10 of an inch to half an inch. Then in those blues, you're half an inch to 1 inch. And then in those yellows, you're about 1 to 2 inches. In those reds, you're 2 to 5. And then anywhere in that brown, you're about 5+ inches. So you see, we have about at least 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, pretty much anywhere from coastal Maine down through into Maryland, Virginia, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. You see a pocket of heavy rainfall over parts of Philadelphia, pretty much, and that's just going to be 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And then that heaviest rain is really going to be over most of Rhode Island, eastern half of Connecticut, eastern half of Long Island, and then especially in Nantucket, getting slammed with about 5 inches of rainfall. We're going to look at the GFS model right now as well, and just to get two perspectives of what this system looks like. Now, the GFS model, and you see this is by tonight. You see not too much difference by tonight. We really see pretty much the same thing. Yesterday, both of these models had it closer to the shore, and these areas were getting slammed with 3 to 5 inches of rainfall, and that definitely looked like a mess, especially for New York City, Philadelphia. The I-95 corridor was really getting slammed with some rainfall, but now it's moving over closer to Nantucket, Rhode Island, Connecticut, that area, and eastern Long Island. Now, as we keep on moving on, the GFS model is bringing most of these heavy rain showers, really not really that much for New Jersey, the Delmarva, but you're seeing a lot more closer to Boston, Nantucket, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut. You're really seeing a lot of rainfall there, and it kind of likes to stall out over there. Heavy rain bands moving on to Nantucket by Thursday morning, and it's going to stay there all the way into Friday, and you're really not going to get out of that rainfall until about Saturday, when it starts to move out of the area and that front moves it along. Now here's your rainfall totals. In those greens, you're anywhere from 1/100 of an inch to half an inch. Then in those blues, you're half an inch to 2 inches. In those purples, you're 2 to 6 inches. And anything in those reds, you're going to be about 6+ inches. If you're in those oranges, you're about 9+ inches. So GFS definitely like to keep those bands of heavy rainfall over this area, which is slamming Nantucket with those heavy rain bands, even into Rhode Island. You're really seeing about 3 to 6 inches, and then some isolated areas getting 6 to 10 inches of rainfall, with some areas actually getting more than that. So definitely a situation that we're going to be looking at over the next couple of days. Now here's your wind gust outlook. We're going to look at the European model and the GFS model like we did with the precipitation. So here's your European model. You have right now you have about 20-mile-per-hour gusts. These are all going to be gusts. So you have 20-mile-per-hour gusts over parts of New Jersey into the Delmarva, Virginia, and then down. If we were to move the frame down a little bit, you would have seen about 20-mile-per-hour gusts for the eastern half of North and South Carolina. Now, as we move on a little bit, you see how those heavy gusts are just offshore, still 20 mile per hour for the Delmarva, eastern half of New Jersey, and now they're starting to move north into Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. As we keep on going, you see how those 30 mile per hour wind gusts, this is in knots, by the way, so this would be about 5 to 10 miles per hour more. So these yellows, that would be more of 40 to 45 mile per hours. And you see how they start to come onshore. You see one reading is around 50, a lot of readings around 45, 49, 48. You're seeing a lot of those readings coming onshore a little bit, and that's going to be about 60 mile per hours almost. And that's definitely something that could bring down power lines, trees, and definitely could bring on some coastal flooding. Now, as we keep on going, on Friday, you look to see those winds move closer to New Jersey and Delaware, and you're going to be seeing about 30 mile per hour wind gusts. Closer to the shore, you could get around 40 mile per hour wind gusts by Friday, and then it starts to, weaken a little bit as we get into Saturday, and then it totally disambiguates, and now there's pretty much just some scattered thunderstorms and not that much heavy wind gusts, and generally about 10 to 20, 30 mile per hour wind gusts at most. Now here's your GFS model, and we're gonna start at 12 hours out, so this would be for tonight, and as we see, it moves onshore by Thursday, or Thursday around 12 a.m. It starts to move on to Long Island and then parts of coastal Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And then it really gets going right around Thursday in the afternoon, and it kind of stays there, those heavy wind gusts staying there really until Saturday, and then they start to get off. Now we're just going to look at the current tropical disturbances out in the Atlantic from the National Hurricane Center. So this is the National Hurricane Center, but using a website called Pivotal Weather. I just like their graphics more, but it shows the same exact information. And if you do want to check out Pivotal Weather, just pivotalweather.com. It's a really great website, and it has a lot of information related to the weather. You see this 10% area, this is our nor'easter, so this actually has a 10% chance to become a tropical system or a tropical disturbance, and that's definitely noteworthy. That even if it doesn't reach that, I don't think even if it did reach it wouldn't really change anything. Just closer to the center of the system, you would be seeing your tropical storm wind gusts, but we're mainly the center's offshore, so it wouldn't really impact it. But just knowing that has that potential in that system is kind of crazy that we could be seeing that. And this is over the next 2 days, so it has a 10% chance of development over the next 2 days, a 40% chance over here right behind it, and then the system that it looks to actually absorb. This system looks to absorb. So this 40% region looks to get absorbed by this system right here, which will actually intensify it a little bit as we go into Thursday and Friday, when it does look to, basically gobble that system up. Now, if you did enjoy that video, guys, please click that red subscribe button on my channel. If you go on my channel page, you'll see a red subscribe button. If you click that, then you'll be given that bell icon. I'll move my pen out of the way. Once you click that, please click all so that you get all my notifications. Every time I post a video, you'll be able to get notified. And then please leave a like on this video if you did enjoy this. Anyways, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.